Hey, it's been a long time. Nice to see you, man.
Same here.
How are you?
Excellent. Keeping busy. I just came from Työväen Museo over here in Tampere, and we recently hung a photo exhibit curated by yours truly about Finnish hip hop since 1986, from the early days at Lepakko to some really nice flashy shots by Joni Sarkki and Tuomo Lampinen from recent years.
Which do you prefer? Do you like the flashy new stuff or the old grimy?
I like the old stuff, of course. Everybody's a photographer these days, and internet is filled with photos. I mean, when you look at your Instagram, 5 minutes after the show stops, you already have a lot of footage, even moving clips from during the show and so forth. So I mean, I'm kind of into the old school days of way back, and that's when people didn't carry their iPhones. You used to have to take 24 pictures and take the film somewhere to be produced, and then you would have to pick it up, and then you would have them on paper and so forth. I mean, it's nowadays people take hundreds of shots and never look at it.
Sometimes I do go back and I was like, hey, 8 years ago I took this really weird with a really shitty camera phone. And it's like, man, why did I do that? But then it's like, well, it's there for me, and maybe nobody else cares, but at least I go back and look at it. So people go back and look at your old Instagram photos.
Sure.
Hey, you are at the Tampere Jazz Happening, and you're here with probably the biggest band you've been in so far. And you've been in a lot of bands.
Yeah.
Have you ever counted how many bands you've been in?
No, not really. I mean, I like to think more quality than quantity. But certainly Rikitik Big Band Julkinen is the largest outfit I ever been involved in.
It also probably has the largest, or at least longest, name of any project you've ever been in.
Probably, yeah.
How did this whole idea come about, other than, it would be fun to play with a really big band?
Well, I got to know Valtteri Pöyhönen, who is the main composer and head honcho of Rikitik, the founder of Rikitik. Maybe 5 years ago, 2010 era, we met at Flow Festival at Radio Helsinki, a few different occasions, and I of course recognized Valtteri's work with Rikitik Big Band, and also Dalindeo, his other group that he's active with, that is now recording for BBE Records, really big label, international label, and we discussed the opportunity. I had just put out a big record called Helsinki Shangri-La. Valtteri was really impressed with a lot of my stuff, and we discussed some kind of idea of combining spoken word lyrics with big band jazz. So Valtteri kind of approached me with this idea, and him and Jaska Lukkarinen, who plays drums in Rikitik Big Band, is, in my opinion, the most interesting jazz drummer in Finland. He also plays in my band Räjähtävä Nyrkki. Jaska and Valtteri paid a visit at my house in the fall of 2012. So, we were standing on my very small balcony, and it was one of those moments when the sun is just about to go down and just paints the sky all orange and stuff. We were standing there looking at these apartment buildings in Lauttasaari area, and the sun was painting everything orange. It was this orange moment, and we were kind of standing there looking, having a smoke and looking, somewhere in the future, and discussing this idea of jazz and lyrics, and we would. That night we listened to a lot of Gil Scott-Heron and a lot of the Last Poets, and a lot of jazz with lyrics and poetry involved. So we decided to collaborate on a jazz and poetry thing. Around the same time I was working on a record called Maan Tapa, on which we collaborated with Tommi Lindgren and Red Rama on a track. And when the guys came around the studio to record it, we had recorded the track called Muista, and after we had done this, I kind of spoke to the guys about the idea, because when I kind of started to think about the idea of combining big band jazz with lyrics, I instantly thought about some kind of cipher, like several rappers. So I kind of I talked to Red and Tommy about the idea. They were like, fuck, their eyes lit up like, wow, like, geez, you know. I think Lasse said like, fuck, Jukka Eskola plays trumpet in Rikitik Big Band. I'm a fucking Jukka Eskola fan, like, wow. And Tommy's like, geez, you know, that'd be really some generational piece, like a sukupolviteos, you know, doing something with these guys, you know, big fans of jazz. And then the boys were like, fuck, you know, and then we got together with Valtteri, Tommy, and Lasse and myself, and the chemistry was there, and we were like, yeah, let's do this. And we embarked on a mission to create some kind of fusion blend of big band jazz and hip-hop music, rap, vocals. And we worked with 4 or 5 compositions that Valtteri already had done, and they had recordings, like rehearsal space recordings of these tracks, and we started to write lyrics to those tracks, and then Valtteri began to write some more stuff, and this is for the debut album of Rikitik Big Band called Burna. We put out 2013, and the reception was amazing. We ended up playing Flow Festival main stage with Public Enemy. We ended up playing Ruisrock main stage. We played sold out shows in Tavastia, 3 sold out shows. Absolutely amazing, and we really arrived as a group instantly. And then everybody is at the same time kind of working on their own stuff. We had previously collaborated with Red Rama and Tommy on a project called GG Caravan, which was a project circled around Finnish gypsy tradition. So we made a kind of a gypsy music hip hop blend with that. It was us, Brandon, and a group of other rappers also. But we had experience recently touring together with this GG Caravan outfit. So after the first record was put out, you know, we got great publicity. We had absolutely rave reviews, and it just worked. And then Valtteri put out a new Dalindeo record. Red Rama put out new stuff. I released several records in between. Myself, Tommy put out a new Dungeons and Big Band record. Everybody was keeping very active. We did 12 shows on the first tour, mostly main stage festivals or sold out concert halls. And then we decided to start work on a second album. The work started 2014, just about a year ago.
Yeah. Was it different doing the second album compared? You said the first album was a lot of these pieces are ready, just add your stuff on top of it. Was it more collaboration?
Certainly, yeah. And we kind of knew what we were doing the second time around. Usually in music you talk about the significant other or the sophomore effort or the vaikea kakkoslevy, you know, the kind of the difficult follow-up album. But in this case, I think it was much more clear we had this vision, because the first one was really experimental, you know, nobody had done anything like this before. Main differences with how we kind of did this second one was that we were all 4 present. The 3 rappers and Valtteri were collaborating together physically in the same room writing these tunes. So Valtteri would sit by the piano or play the guitar or play like early Sibelius synth vamps of the orchestra for us, and we would work out different tempos. We decided on doing like trap music tempos with this one. So traditionally hip hop is 85 to 100 BPM, 90 something is the basic. So that's like the typical rap music BPM, beats per minute. Yeah. But trap music now is the new kind of modern hip hop sound, which is a lot slower. So we go from anywhere from 70, 140 BPM to 160, so in between there, which means you do the half times, double time thing. So we wanted to do the trap thing a little bit with the big band, which is even more weird, because when you think about trap music, it's very modern, super synthy, even auto-tuned beats and stuff. We decided to experiment with different kinds of tempos. We flew to Berlin, where Valtteri lives, in Neukölln, and in his apartment started to write material. And during the first night there, we wrote 3 tracks. It was amazing, like we really got onto it. The 2 main differences with this album and the second one, as far as how it was actually executed, are as follows. Number one, we used a click this time. The first album, it's free tempo, it's no click, so it's actually the tempos are like
whatever.
Yeah. So that gave a little bit of a sequenced, hard-hitting vibe to the second one.
Yeah.
Similar to hip-hop music. The second one is the fact that we mixed the first album like a big band jazz record is mixed. Now the second one is mixed like a hip-hop record is mixed, meaning the bass and the drums are really in your face and the vocals are up there, you know. So this kind of philosophy on how we mixed and mastered the tracks are also different.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as songwriting goes, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The four guys come together, we decide on a theme, we write our raps, we figure out how we go, you know, and then Valtteri writes the full scores, the partitures for the songs, and then it's executed by this amazing lineup of elite, top-notch jazz cats, you know. And it was really amazing to hear the band play the tunes for the first time at rehearsal or in the studio. It was maximum twice a song was recorded. Like there's a couple of second takes, but most of them are first take.
Cool. Let's talk about rehearsal a little bit. How do you rehearse a band? Because I have a big band myself. We have a 10-piece band, and your band is a little bit bigger. And your guys are super busy, not only on the like the front guys, but probably
vocals,
also
yes.
like the actual band.
Yes.
And so how do you schedule this kind of a group?
Very, very demanding, and it's really a problem. Valtteri usually tries to schedule things like 3 months ahead. And the main thing, because the players in the band, guys like Kalevi Louhivuori, Jukka Eskola, Ari Jokelainen, Antti Hynninen, you know, these guys, Antti Lötjönen just got awarded, you know, Jazz Player of the Year. These guys are superstars. They're like main event dudes who run their own groups. So everybody's fully booked. So Valtteri usually starts 3 months early to figure out dates. And then the main thing to make it happen is you have to understand that a big band is an entity. So it has to be a full big band lineup every time the music is played, including rehearsals. So everybody has a stand-in guy for rehearsals also. It's the only band I ever played in where dudes have somebody standing in for you for rehearsal. So the band is full, the sound is full every time. And it's just guys who come for the rehearsal. And it's the main dude who's going to play the gig, of course. But I mean, nearly every show, certainly every rehearsal, but nearly every show, we're missing someone from that ideal full lineup.
Yeah, because it's hard to, I mean...
but I mean, even the alternative cats are really, really super players, you know. It's like, even the dudes who kind of sit in are top notch.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you have a busy day. I gotta get you back to your sound check, and well, I could talk with you for like 2 days. We'll do that some other time. Hey, have a really good Tampere Jazz.
Thank you.
Where can you get the album? Let's plug away.
Yeah, it's available on most digital MP3 sites. Of course, Spotify.
And also on vinyl. Yeah,
it's on vinyl, and we have a bonus track on vinyl that's not available on any of the digitals.
What's the vinyl? Because this is jazz, so you got.
Yeah, we always put out vinyl. You know me, you know, I always put out vinyl. So
I've seen your collection also.
Yeah, and in the beginning, I used to say that my music comes also out on CD. You know, it's like cause the main vinyl is the main thing. But I mean, we decided to put an extra track, a bonus track on the vinyl that's nowhere else available. So that's a good reason to buy the vinyl. You can buy the vinyl and CD in most record stores, I would say.
All right. Hey, thank you very much.
Okay.
No one can see this.
Give thanks, Vincent. Okay. Nice.